But I was in a good mood because a little bit ago, guess what? I had a pretty fun session of BlazBlue. That's right. I've never been. I think I've talked about my. I might have mentioned it before, but my a little bit of friction I've had getting into BlazBlue actually, of like actually trying to have fun in the game. I own it. I own Central Fiction and all that, and I've had like little gripes and stuff, and things that I don't think would be that big of a deal. Stuff like the pace of the game, the sort of like, moving back and forth. Something about, okay, I think I came into BlazBlue and I sort of expected it to be like Guilty Gear. And that was my problem. And I think on a surface level, many people might assume that they play the same, but they really don't. Like no BlazBlue game feels like any Guilty Gear game. They do not feel the same at all. Like the way that the buttons are designed, the way that the movement flows and feels, the whole like the buffer window on things, this whole system of like rolling and all that, like it is very distinct. And just the speed you gotta input stuff is different, if that makes sense. It feels like that. Maybe it's not, but there's something that feels like it. I think the hit stop, there's like a different amount of hit stop in the, like when you hit someone in BlazBlue, there's like a boom, and it's different. I don't know how. I mean, I could go in with a magnifying glass and count and see like how much hit stun do like heavies do, or hit stop specifically. Hit stop is when is the visual effect of like the screen freezing for a second when a big hit happens, and it's different. I think BlazBlue is more, and it just changes the pacing of it. It changes how it kind of feels. And I've just always had a little bit of trouble getting into it. For one, just because it is different, and I have to approach it as something that's different and not going to be like one-to-one transferable. For two, my online experience has just always been bad in that game. I have tried to boot it up like 2 times before, and it was either like I can't find anyone. Like this is post rollback update too. Can't find anyone online, and then finally I find someone in a room online, and like, oh, they've been waiting there for like 20 minutes, and they are just AFK and not paying attention, and we are not. I'm readied up, and they are just not paying it. They're just not there. So it's like, well, I gotta back out, and I gotta spend more. I'm spending more time looking for matches than I am playing matches, and then I just had this frustrating experience when I was finally able to match with someone. Either like they would just like one and done me. It was super annoying. I would get matched up with someone in like a player lobby, and then they just quit out. And I was like, what the? I couldn't get anything consistent going. Like you need some time to get into it, to get into the groove of the game, Especially if you're like learning it, if you're coming to grips with just like the basic feel of how it flows, and getting used to like just the basic comfort things of your character, like actually landing hit confirms and reacting to just basic stuff that you're doing. You need some time to acclimate yourself to that for kind of any game, really. And I never got that experience just because of people being annoying online. But finally tonight, I was able to actually jump into a room and play like a good, like maybe 7 or maybe 10 matches. I can't remember, with someone online, and it was the same guy, and we just rematched. He was playing Hakumen. I've been playing Azrael, and I actually had some fun. He was also like, he had like less than 100 games. He had like 40 something, maybe it was like 70. I don't remember, but like under 100 games under his belt, and that meant that we were on a somewhat even playing field. He was clearly a lot more. He done a little more practice than me. Like he was doing actual real ass combos. He was dropping some of them, and I was able to like tech out and stuff. But also I was playing Azrael, so that kind of even the score. little bit, even things up. But it was actually fun. I was like, oh shit, I got a couple rounds. I got a couple games. It felt good. The game actually, it clicked a little bit for me. And was even a little bit fun. Wow, crazy. This interest kind of got kicked off by the fact that I just kind of out of the blue decided that I wanted to do all of the basic or easy mode combo trials for every character in the game. I don't know why. I have like a sickening love-hate relationship with combo trials because frequently I hate them and they make me tear my hair out. But on the other hand, I think that they're cool, and I just like doing them. There's something really satisfying about doing a challenge like that. And sometimes they can even be fun, believe it or not. So I decided to do everyone's basic combo trials, and I got all of them, and I completed them tonight. I actually did this a while ago, but I didn't own Jubei. For some reason, despite the fact that this game has been out for years and it's ended its support for years, Jubei, the last character, is still like separate DLC that you have to buy for like $7 or $8. I don't know what that's about, but there's a big Steam sale, and I just noticed, oh, the Jubei DLC is like $2, or it's like $1 or something. Okay, I'll just buy him and finish all the combo trials. So I have now finished all the basic ones with one big asterisk. And that is goddamn Rachel Alucard's Trial 10. I cannot do that one. I probably could. It's too much of a pain in the ass, and it's too convoluted for my fingers to do. If you don't know, every character in BlazBlue is a 4-button game. It's a 4-button fighter. A, B, C, and D. Those are your main attack buttons. And those represent light, medium, heavy. And then D is your drive button. And drive is essentially like the gimmick button for every character. Every character has some kind of unique mechanic or system or whatever. And drive is how you interact with it. All of your D buttons and special moves and all that stuff. So for Rachel, she is a projectile zoner. She's like this gothic Lolita. Is she a vampire or something? I don't know. I think she's a I don't know. She has that aesthetic. She's like this gothic Lolita girl, and she is a projectile zoner. A pretty interesting projectile zoner, because her whole deal is that she tosses out these projectiles. She throws out a frog or like a little balloon thing or something like that. And then her drive, is a gust of wind, like a full stream gust of wind. And that affects her momentum. It can push her in any direction. It essentially gives her like an 8-way air dash. And it also affects the opponent's like movement and trajectory and stuff like that. So some kind of neat physics idea. Physics mechanic. But it also, notably, affects many of her projectiles. So she can like blow them into you or blow them behind you or something like that. And she can combo using this. She can do this mid combo, which means that she can do all these wacky things that were like normally the opponent would get pushed away, but she can like she can use the wind to like push the opponent back down towards her or something and like continue the combo. And like it's neat, right? It's neat, but man, you're doing a lot of like fine little directional inputs while you're doing it, and it feels very. I know she's definitely like a very high skill cap character. I know that I am sure that there are people who can go crazy on Rachel and actually wrap their mind around like all the wind stuff you can do. It's cool. It's just like a huge pain in the ass, and it's the only one that I was like, I don't know, what's her last one? It's like you have to like launch them, and then you can only do the wind after like on the like almost like one of the last frames. It's like actually a really tight link, because otherwise it cancels out of the move too fast, and then they don't get like the right height of like a launcher. It's this really tight combo, and then you got to do this like instant air dash thing, and I was Yeah, so I'm not gonna do that one. Fuck that one. But some of them were actually pretty fun. I thought Terumi was cool. I think Terumi is like a really cool concept for a character that he's just all about meter. Like he just builds meter all the time. He has very few special moves, but like way more supers or just moves that use his like he has to burn meter in order to use. It's cool. S was surprisingly fun. I remember a couple of them were like, yeah, they were decently fun. Uh, who else do I remember as having ones that I would actually call fun? Tagers were weirdly enjoyable. I usually kind of shudder at the idea of combo trials for grapplers because grapplers they're not usually like combo characters, right? So if they have combo trials, I am used to them just being the most cursed shit imaginable with like, oh, you thought they didn't have any combos? Here's the weirdest fucking conversion you've ever seen that you're like, oh, what the hell is, what is this? It's like the character's just supposed to like get up close to you and hit you with the command grab or something. Like they're not designed to do that. So all their combos end up being like really esoteric and weird. But Tager's were actually really fun. Tager's whole gimmick is he's a big, heavy grappler guy, but he has a magnetism mechanic, so he can like hit you with something and then put this magnetic debuff on you, and then literally like suck you in, like pull you in with his gauntlets, and it's really neat. I'm going to go into standing desk mode because the circulation in my legs is starting to hurt. Whoa, here we go. Woo. All right. Can you hear that? There we go. All right, cool. Now I can stand and talk. So Tagers were actually really fun. I was very scared about doing 360 motions on a leverless because 360 motions are kind of designed to be done on a stick and not what is essentially a keyboard. It is one of the motions I would say is like approaching it is like, I would say probably harder than doing it on stick. But you can just hit the cardinal directions and get it somewhat consistently. Carl sucked. But he's like a puppet character. I kind of expected that. Arakunes were weirdly easy. Bullets were kind of neat. Platinums were like insanely easy. I was shocked. Platinums were incredibly easy. She's like the random item character of the game. And then I don't have any like super strong thoughts on most of them. Most of them were fine. Most of them were just fine. I didn't realize how much Mai is just a Tekken character. She is really just a Tekken character. Like she has a whole system of strings. Weird that that's the second Arxis game with a Tekken reference in like a character's moveset. Ramlethal in Exerd also works like that, where she has all of these like long button string combinations. Mai, I think, might even take it a little further because she does that thing. She has that interesting, weird thing that I've never seen a non-3D fighter do. So like in Tekken, they don't really have like quarter circle motion. They do. So the way that Tekken will do it is they'll do a quarter circle motion, but it's just the motion. And that essentially like puts you into this little forward step. This little like forward step animation. And then characters will have different follow-ups out of that. Like in a regular 2D fighter, that would typically just be like you just have like 3 different variations of the move depending on what button strength you do or something like that. But Mai actually has that, like she has a whole move to that's just one of her specials is just doing a quarter circle forward. I'm like, all right, that's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my general thoughts. The BlazBlue does have a cool cast, even if I am on the record as not really liking many of the character designs or not gelling with them just from like an aesthetic point of view. Yeah, no, but I actually had a decent amount of fun. I might even play again. Wow. Wow, me playing a game for 2 days in a row. That's how you know. That's how you know it's crazy.